welcome back to Fathering in the Prophetic. It's been almost 9 months since we recorded, not because we were just taking a break, but lots of things going on, including quintuple bypass for you, multiple fractures for mum and her back and challenges there. The studio that we recorded burnt down, so we're currently in my living room at the moment. But as we lean into the prophetic again, in this Fathering in the Prophetic, it's hearing Father and what Father's saying, what Father's doing.
Yep.
And it's really important that we actually look at that in times of challenge, because it's not always mountaintop experiences.
That's right.
And so it's been a challenging time. So would you let us into your world a little bit? What's Father maybe highlighting to you, showing to you, and to the people that are watching right now, maybe they're going through a difficult time, what might Father want to say to them?
Great question. It's been a unique 9 months, and in that time, obviously, we have our times of prayer, we have our times of overcoming, we have all of that. But you also have times when, why?
Questions.
You question
Questions.
And I think one of the most challenging things for anybody going through a difficult season is handling the time of question. God,
Right.
why?
Great.
And so, but the faithfulness of our Father is that He responds to that.
Yeah.
And during this 9 months, I think it's been a time of almost unique revelation of two things. One is incredible love.
Great.
His fatherhood, the revelation once again that He is enough.
Great.
That when everything else is stripped away or appears to be stripped away, He is enough.
Wonderful.
And you know, with practically no ministry, with a lot of physical challenges, with the burning down of my office as well as the studio, all of that, and the COVID thing, it was like this perfect storm that removed the platform expression of ministry. The accepted prophetic type ministry, the apostolic ministry, it all kind of got stripped away.
Yes.
And then I would go aside into what is now my temporary office in one of the bedrooms, and I would just close the door. And in that moment, I was closing the door on everything that was happening. And just actually getting down on my knees, raising my hands and saying, Father, it's you and me. And His presence and His love was enough.
So God is enough in the removing of all that can become our identity. This is who I am. I'm a prophet, I'm an apostle, I'm a teacher.
When all that's gone, you get back to who you really are.
So it's not a prophet or a teacher, it's a son.
It's a son. And the father-son relationship is the core, and must be the core.
Yes.
It must be the energy core of everything else that we do.
Very good.
But when we are in momentum and ministering and powering ahead, it's so easy to lose sight of the most critical aspect of our lives.
Yes.
Our sonship, our daughtership.
So good.
His fatherhood.
So good.
But in that time also, I'd have to say that in the last few weeks, this is very well timed. In the last few weeks, I asked a question again, not out of desperation so much, but out of wanting to learn for the rest of the body and for myself. I said, okay, I'll ask the question again. Father, why? And the Lord showed me how we have been crying out for years for a different level of spiritual authority and dominion. And then He showed me that the only gateway, the only doorway to authentic, genuine spiritual authority, the kind of authority that demons instantly recognize, angels honor, that kind of spiritual authority that Jesus carried comes by way of the cross.
Wow.
It comes by way of brokenness. And the reason for that is because you cannot enter into spiritual authority from a position of pride. You cannot, or sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency as opposed to spirit
You
dependency.
cannot.
Yeah.
It's the only doorway
Yeah.
of access to spiritual authority and dominion
Yeah.
is humility.
Wow.
Is humility. And the element of humility that is inescapable is dependence. A cry of dependence. And when you get apparently smashed around and stripped clean of everything that you thought was your identity, everything that gave you a sense of fulfillment or whatever, then it comes back to the very core. And you say, you find out, and I would guarantee people have done this. Some of you watching have done this just spontaneously, as I've done a few times. My God, how I need you. Now, in that moment, something is happening.
3 so important words.
I need you. And yet, so many have fallen into the trap of losing sight of that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between saying it, the words, I need God. It's the appropriate thing to say.
Sure.
There's a difference between that and a cry that erupts out of your spirit.
Yeah.
God, I need you.
Yeah.
But in that moment,
Yeah.
something of a revelation is taking
Praise
place.
God. Praise God.
And the more often that cry is made, and the more sincere that sense of dependence becomes, dependence leads us into a position of humility, which opens the door to spiritual authority and dominion.
My goodness, it's a revelation of the fatherhood and also the dependence, the complete dependence on God that brings the greatest spiritual authority. So
That's it.
Often the wilderness experiences, the desert experiences, the locked away experiences where everything is stripped away. You often emerge, don't you? You emerge more finely honed, more finely tuned.
Just a little bit more in synergy.
That's beautiful.
With the Father's heart.
So
compatible.
So don't despise or reject this season of, if you find yourself in this place where things are being stripped away. This is what I just hear the Lord say. Sometimes He strips things away so we can run even more freely.
It's true.
The heavier you're carrying stuff, the slower it is. And sometimes there's a refining.
That's
and
good.
So we just pray in this season, whether you're flourishing on the mountaintops or you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, that you will have a greater revelation that your Father is with you. Right. That God is for you. He is your Father. And that He wants you to emerge out of this time and this season, having drawn closer. That would be my encouragement. A lot of people in times of challenge step back from God. Questions are okay, the why. But questions that make you step back from God, I think then we need to say, is my position questioning drawing me closer to discover, ask the answer, to get a answer from God, or am I stepping back? If we're stepping back, let's change the question and let's ensure that we keep on stepping closer to God.
I believe that.
So that we emerge. We're in very important days.
Incredible
the people of God can be refined in the fire and come out shining even brighter. I pray you're encouraged by this wisdom. Hey, we look forward to seeing you on the next Fathering in the Prophetic.